What's up, guys? Today we're back with another comparison. We got the Pixel 9 Pro XL versus the iPhone 16 Pro Max here as requested. Be sure to drop those requests on what you guys want to see, and we do have the S24 FE coming, so be sure to subscribe for that. I'm really excited to do comparisons on that, and we're just going to be going, we're going to be going in for the rest of the year, guys. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about this. Two flagships, super expensive phones, $1,000 plus phones now. And which one do you get? A lot of iPhone people, because of how underwhelming, it depends on what you thought, but how underwhelming the iPhone launch was without the AI stuff, and they kind of just reuse the same design. A lot of people are thinking about switching to Pixels and stuff like that, so I get a lot of questions. So there's a ton of advantages, I think, with switching to Pixels. You guys know these are some of my favorite camera phones as well too, or cameras just in general here. So let's talk about the hardware. These are two big phones. The Pixel basically feels and looks like an iPhone except for the camera layout. Every time I grab this phone, like sometimes I'll be trying to grab the iPhone and I'll grab this phone. That's how much it looks like an iPhone, especially if it's like laying like this. You would just think it was an iPhone. So I like the design on the Pixel. I love the camera design here. I wasn't crazy about it when I saw it in the renders, but it is really, really nice looking. So absolutely, I love that here. And as far as the hardware, these are gigantic phones, guys. So let's see which one is bigger. They're about the same size too. They feel the same in the hand kind of too. And yeah, I think beautiful designs, matte finish on both of these, as well too, IP68 of course. And then we also do have the camera button, or eventually this will be probably more useful as the AI button or the Google. It basically does the Google Lens thing. But yeah, this is the camera button, which again, for the 1000th time, I'm not a big fan of. I hate the placement of it. It is a little bit finicky as well too. Maybe they could fix that with the software update, but yeah, it's not my favorite thing, but it's there for anybody who's like professional photographer. I think maybe a lot of professional photographers will really like that. But for me, not a big fan. And then also another thing that the iPhone does, which I think is nice, is they have a dedicated action button here, which you can pull up pretty much any application with this button here. And that's pretty much it for the hardware. Really beautiful hardware on these two phones. I do like the glossy look on the Pixel, even though it picks up quite a bit of fingerprints. I do still like the way that it looks. I think it just gives it a more luxury feel to me. Let's talk about the displays here. So the displays on both of these phones are really good. The iPhone has a massive panel here at 6.9 inches with some extremely thin bezels this year. I think the display is extremely impressive this year. The bezels are absolutely incredible. So definitely got to give Apple credit for that beautiful display design here. The bezels on the Pixel look good, but when you look at it towards the iPhone, you could definitely see the slight difference here. The iPhone pretty much looks like one of those futuristic renders. So I thought that was the most impressive thing about this phone actually. But yeah, so let's talk about the screen specs. 6.9 on the iPhone, LTPO Super Retina XDR OLED. We also have 2000 nits peak brightness. We also have a 1320 by 2868 resolution, 460 for the PPI. Completely flat displays on both of these phones. The Pixel also has the LTPO OLED display, 120 Hz as well. And this phone goes up to 3000 nits peak brightness as well too. And this one is 1344 by 2992 at 6.8 inches, 486 for the PPI. One thing that I like about the Pixel's display more is that this phone does not have the kind of bigger notch that the iPhone has, or the dynamic island. I rarely interact with the dynamic island, so that's why I'm not like a huge fan of it. It's like I said, I rarely mess with it. There's not a lot of applications that I feel like support the dynamic island. But absolutely fantastic panel on both, very bright and colorful screens on both of these phones. So it's something that I really like. I do like just having a little bit more of the screen, on the Pixel. I don't like having that kind of big cutout here on the iPhone. But you can't really go wrong with either screen. Like I said, you got way slimmer bezels on here. Not way slimmer, but slimmer bezels. And then also, I think the Pixel's advantage is brighter outdoors in direct sunlight. And then also, I just like the minimal, punch hole here. All right, so let's talk about these specs a little bit more. I've got a lot of questions about this. So the iPhone 16 Pro Max has the Apple A18 Pro chip, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage. The Pixel here, it does have Google's Tensor G4 processor, and this one has 128 gigs of internal storage, and it actually has 16 gigs of RAM. A lot of the RAM is for the AI stuff, and same thing with the iPhone. It's supposed to have the AI stuff coming soon, but you can see these score differences here. It's a pretty big difference. Now, I would say I wouldn't necessarily worry about this for real life day-to-day scenarios, because the Pixel is still really fast. But if you are someone, you consider yourself a mobile gamer, a very intense phone user, yes, you will notice just overall the iPhone is just a much better phone in terms of gaming. When you really put this to the test with like Genshin, and overall the optimization for the chipset on the iPhone is just going to be better. This is where the Pixel kind of lags at. It's not really geared towards, I guess, gamers. You can casually game on here, which I will show you, but as you guys can see here, it's 27 frames to 14, almost 15 frames pretty much. So not crazy impressive, but like I said, for the average person, I think the Pixel is more than enough fast. Now, if we get into a little speed test here, check out the animations. You can see both are pretty much on par with each other for the most part. Very smooth animations. The Pixel is not really, lagging behind the iPhone at all. Like I said, it really will show its power, the iPhone, when you're doing more like intense gaming and stuff like that. But I wouldn't worry about the benchmarks and speed if you're not really into that type of stuff. Got both these things kind of glitching. But yeah, you guys can see not a big difference here. This is pretty much what I was talking about with the gaming experience here. So since the iPhone is just a more powerful chip and better well optimized here, you can see we have 120 frames on PUBG here, and it just does an excellent job with gaming. You can have pretty much play like these quote-unquote console games like Assassin's Creed, Resident Evil. They're kind of scaled back, but still impressive for the iPhone. And the Pixel, the only thing here is that it's not really that well optimized. We can only play at 60 frames, which is fine if you are a casual gamer. It's perfectly fine. I don't have any issues gaming on this chipset. I don't have any heating issues. So basically, that's just something you need to know if you consider yourself a mobile gamer. You will have an overall better gaming experience with the iPhone. So let's talk about the software, because this is really important. Apple, for whatever reason, launched the iPhone 16 Pro Max with no AI features. So you have old Siri. It's not going to be coming till I think sometime in the fall. And then even when they said that, all of the features aren't going to be rolled out. So we don't know when exactly all of the features are going to be rolled out for the Apple Intelligence. Now, you have a lot of AI stuff already here on your Pixel device. Your circle to search is going to be here. That's basically what Apple's going to do with that little camera button. Also, Gemini is extremely well polished. See if I can bring Gemini Live up. Hey, can you tell me what the best places are to eat in Las Vegas?
Wow, that's a tough one, because Las Vegas has a ton of amazing restaurants. To help me narrow it down, do you have any type of food in mind?
Seafood. Actually, never mind. Can you tell me where to eat, where the best places to eat in Houston, Texas?
Houston has a great food scene. For amazing steaks, Taste of Texas is a classic. If you're looking for something a little more fancy,
tell me the best vegan restaurants.
Houston has a great vegan food scene. A popular option is Green Seed Vegan. They specialize in raw and...
So you guys can see, you can legit have a conversation with Gemini. It's extremely accurate. You can interrupt it. It's kind of like talking to a real person. It's very, very good. This is only like surface level stuff. We got the photo editor, which does a lot of AI stuff. So again, you got a lot of the AI stuff here. You have no AI stuff with a promise that they're going to bring AI stuff. So I am going to be, I know it sounds a little harsh, but I am going to be a little harder on Apple for not coming out with this AI stuff in a timely fashion and then not giving a concrete date on when it will be out. Got both speakers at max volume. We'll start with the iPhone. Yeah, I think the iPhone is a little bit louder. It's really close though. They both sound really good, almost kind of similar. Yeah, the iPhone's definitely louder. They sound really similar in terms of quality and how they're tuned, but I would say the iPhone is a little bit louder there, but very, very close for the speakers. Now, also the biometrics. So this is one thing that I absolutely love about just Android phones in general here. You have the option to do face unlock on here, but you also have the option for a fingerprint scanner, and Google fixed the fingerprint scanner this year. It is now an ultrasonic one and it works really well. So I think it's just better to have two methods to get into your phone instead of just the Face ID, because sometimes the Face ID, depending on the kind of situation, will not register my face sometimes. It's usually accurate most of the time, but sometimes I have that issue. It's just quicker to use a fingerprint scanner for me personally. Okay, about the cameras on these two phones. Excellent cameras. We know Pixels are some of the best phones that you can buy for cameras. And so is the iPhone. Also for video, these phones do a fantastic job. I actually used Pixel phones pretty much exclusively to film all my shorts as well too. So I really do like the cameras on the Pixel. So let's talk about these specs here. So the iPhone has a 48 megapixel standard, a 12 megapixel periscope telephoto. You also have 5 times optical zoom, and this one goes up to 25 times here. Show you guys 25 times. And then you also do have a 48 megapixel ultra wide. It can shoot in 4K 120 frames now, and then you have a 12 megapixel selfie that shoots in 4K 60. The Pixel here, you do have on here a 50 megapixel standard and a 48 megapixel telephoto. This one can shoot in 30 times zoom as well, so you have a little bit more zoom. And then you also have a 48 megapixel ultra wide. It can shoot in 8K 30 and then 4K 60, and then it has a 42 megapixel selfie that shoots in 4K 60. Check out these side-by-side stills and video. Let me know what you guys think. Alright, so let's talk about the battery life experience. Screen on time is great on both of these phones, and then also standby time is pretty good on both of these phones as well too. And overall, the battery life experience is great. So you have pretty big batteries on these two phones, and then also they charge decently fast. on here. It's nothing really that impressive. You do have MagSafe capability with the iPhone as well too, and then you also do have wireless charging on both of these. The Pixel does have reverse wireless charging, so you can charge up another device or earbuds or something like that. And yeah, that is pretty much it for the battery. These phones honestly don't charge at crazy speeds, so it's not really that impressive in that department, but the battery life is great on both of these phones, so you can't really go wrong there. So yeah, it really comes down to, I think, the software as well too. And then it also comes down to what you thought about the cameras. Speed is a big factor here, not necessarily the overall speed of, you know, apps and just going through the OS, but gaming is also a big thing you need to take into consideration. So there's quite a bit of a, you know, differences here. We have the AI stuff already here with the Pixel, and yeah, so just take all of that into consideration in your buying decision. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.